How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Tezvav, Daf 15 of Masechta Nazir. Friends, excuse me. I still have a shtickle cold. A shtickle. I've been staying home the last 2 days. Not because I needed to necessarily, but I figured if I have a shtickle cold, and it's been like cold and rainy outside, finally. Yeah, it's nice. You know, look, when you live in a place like Eretz Yisrael, where there's like a cold, rainy season, so it's supposed to be cold and rainy in the cold, rainy season. Shout out to our Chaver of Maynard, to our Chaver of Maynard. I'm in a groove with him right now, and he's taking care of some numbers, and I'm recording Babylon Talmud. Yeah, alright. So, where are we? Daf Tezvav of Masechta Nazir. It says the Mishnah, Reini Nazir, Nechsheli Bain. So fellow, he says that he's going to be a Nazir when he has a son. Okay, his son is born, and instead of making a l'chaim, he uses beer, I guess. So fellow says he's going to be a Nazir when he has a son. V'nazir me'ayom, an oichet, a Nazir for 100 days. No lo ben ad shivim, lo hifsid klum. Okay, lacha shivim soser, shein tiglachas pachos mishloshim yom. Friends, who can explain that to me? Let's read it again slowly. Okay, so what did he say? So he said that he's going to be a Nazir when his son is born. He also said that he's going to be a Nazir for 100 days. So the Mishnah says that as long as his son is born with 30 plus days left to his 100-day Naziris, so he can he could do the two Nazirises in parallel. I think my glasses need to be, excuse me, I gotta clean my glasses quickly. Let's do that again, right? So, Nola lo ben ad shivim. So if his son is born within the first 70 days of his 100-day Naziris, lo yifsid klum. So he doesn't need to do anything extra. Meaning, if his son is born on day 70, so then he was already a Nazir for 70 days. He said he's going to be a Nazir for 100 days. The last 30 days of his Nazirus will be the last 30 days of his 100-day Nazirus, but also the Nazirus that he had committed for his son. So, as long as there's enough time for the Nazirus of his son to be contained within his 100-day Nazirus, so then that's what it will be. But la'achar shivim, but if the son is born after 70 days, right? Let's say after 75 days, where there is not enough in the remaining 25 days to satisfy his 30-day Nazirus that he committed for his son who is now born, so then it forces a hiatus in the 100-day Nazirus, shein tiglachas pachos mishloshim yom, because you would have to have 30 days for the Nazirus. So you need, in order for them to be able to be parallel and to go together, so there would have to be 30 days left in the 100-day Nazirus. If not, if there's only like 25 days left, so you take a break from the first Nazirus, you do the 30 days of Nazirus for the son, and then you go back and complete the final remaining days. The final 25 remaining days. Okay. Says the Gemara, Omer Rav Yom Shivim Ole Lechan U Lechan. Okay, says Rab that the 70th day, right? Meaning if the son is born on the 70th day, so the 70th day works as both the 70th day of the Nazirus, but oichet as the first day of the Nazirus of his son, as well as the 71st day. So meaning the 70th day of the Nazirus, if his son is born on the 70th day, so in day 70 counts, of course, as day 70, but it also counts as day 71, as the first day of the next Nazirus that he's going to be doing for his son, right? So it counts as day 70 of his Nazirus plus the first day of the Nazirus for his son. So basically, it's 2 days in one, which means that he saves a day, right? And if he says he's going to be a Nazir for 100 days, then on day 70, his son is born. And day 70 counts as both day 70, but also day 71, also, right, the first day of this next Nazirus that he's coinciding with his son. So then in Mele, if you, if you merge, make a moija, if you merge 2 days into one, so you only have to ultimately be a Nazir for 99 days, not 100. So again, Amar Rab, Yom Shivim Ol L'chan L'chan. Now, frag the Gemara Tanan, we learned in our Mishnah, Nola Lo Ad Shivim Lo Hifsid Klum. That if he is, if the baby is born up to 70 days into his 100-day Nazirus, Lo Hifsid Klum, he doesn't lose out. V'sal Kedaitich Ol L'chan L'chan. And if it enters your mind that day 70 works both as day 70 but Oichid as day 71 and he saves a day, what do you mean he doesn't lose? Is Gure Mizgur Itaka gains? Not just that he doesn't lose, Taka gains. He gets a day off early. Really, it didn't need to say that if the baby is born until up to 70 days, he doesn't lose out. No, because it says in the continuation that, however, if the baby is born after the 70th day, well then he's gonna, right, then he is soser. He forces him to take a break, do the Nazirus for his son, and then go back and do an additional, wrap up the remaining days. So therefore, it kind of forces him to take a break, a recess. So Katani Reisha Shivim. So therefore, the Reisha also said that up until 70 days he doesn't lose, even though Einachinami he gains. But because when it's when it's born after 70 days, so then he does lose, right? He has to extend the Nazirus in order to accommodate the Nazirus of his son. So we say, but if he's born before, so then he doesn't lose. But Einachinami Taka gains. Fine, Toshma. Miseifa. No larachashivim soser. That if the baby is born after, right, on day 71, it is soser. But if you say that it works both ways, right, what does it say? Right, nolar achar shivim soser. That if the baby is born after day 70, so if the baby is born on day 71, so then it doesn't work. But if you say that it counts both ways, well then, that means that the day that the baby is born, on day 71, can already count as the first day of the Nazirus for the baby. Right, well, for the baby and for, and it counts within his Nazirus as day. You can already start counting on that day for the Nazirus of the son. You don't have to wait till the next day. And if you don't have to wait till the next day, so then Memele, there's enough time for the Nazirus of his son to overlap with the 100-day Nazirus that he's in. So therefore, why should it be sosa, right? We're saying that if the baby's born after day 70, there's not enough time. But why not? If the baby's born on day 71, as long as day 71 is also going to count, going to coincide with the first day of the Nazirus of his son, there should be enough time. So rather, it sounds like no, that day doesn't go both ways. You're going to have to wait to start counting till the next day, which would be day 72, and that would not work. So we say, no, you can even start counting on day 71, but my achar, when it says that if the baby is born achar shivim, it doesn't mean the one day after 70, it means more than that. More than one day after 70. So day 72 and on. Aval achar mamish mai. But what about on day 71? Hachanami delo saser. Well, I guess you could read it as a question. Hachanami delo saser. So are you telling me that if the baby is born on day 71, so then there is enough time for the Nazirus of his son to overlap with his own Nazirus, with the 100-day Nazirus? If that's the case, my area to Tani Nolad ad Shivim lo yifsid klum, afilu achar Shivim nami ha'amayt lo saser. So then why are we saying that Davka until 70 he doesn't lose out? But based on what we're saying, even right, afilu achar Shivim nami ha'amayt lo saser. We just said that even after 70, day 71, there's also enough time to chaparain. So Ella, Shmamina Acher Mamish V'chimas Nisan L'Rav Shmamina. Rather, it must be that no, it means day 71 is going to be problematic. And our Mishnah L'Maisa is a kasha on Rav. V'Rav Kiman Omer L'Shmaite. Now, who is Rav going like? When Rav says that the 70th day can work for both, for as day 70 and day 71. So who does he hold like? If we say that Rav is holding like Abba Shaul, the Tanya, that we learn in Bryce HaKover as Meso Shloshiyam Kodem L'Regel. If a fellow Nebuch is sitting Shiva, a relative passes away 3 days before a festival, but Shiva. Okay, comes the festival and it knocks out Shiva. If the nifter was nifter 8 days before the regel, before the festival, well, comes the festival and it knocks off, it wipes out the halachis of shloshim that we learned about Masechta Moed Kohen. And he's allowed to get a haircut before, on the day prior to the festival. And if he didn't get a haircut, also the saper regel, he's not allowed to get a haircut after the festival, right? So if we're saying that the halachis of shloshim and shiva are suspended when the festival comes, and we're saying that he's allowed to get a haircut prior to the festival, so he's got to take care of it. But if he has to take advantage. If he's not going to get a haircut before the festival and not prioritize that, so then you won't be able to get a haircut after the festival either. Abba Sholom says, Abba Sholom, afilu lo siper kodem regel mutar l'saper achar regel. No, even if he did not get a haircut before the festival, he could still get a haircut after the festival, no problem. Because just like right, that if you have your relative who passes away 3 days before the festival and comes the festival and it's mevatel the shiva, kach mitzvahs shiva mevateles gzera shloshim. Also, once already 7 days have passed and then comes the festival, so then there's no longer shloshim. So we see that day 7 already, according to Abba Shaul, right? It says mitzvahs shiva mevateles gzera shloshim. So we see according to Abba Shaul, 7 days is already enough for it to be mevatel mitzvahs shloshim. But isn't 7 days part of the shiva? My timer, the Abba Shaul, it's affecting Gemara. So don't we see from Abba Shaul that he's counting day 7, yes, as the last day of Shiva, but Oichit as the first day of Shloshim, and therefore, if a relative passes away 7 days before the festival, so the festival can be Mavatal already Shloshim. So Dilma, Ad Kan, Lo Ka'omer Abba Shaul, Elo, Bavela Zayin de Rabbanon. Maybe Abba Shaul was only saying this when it comes to Shiva, which is de Rabbanon, so he's willing to say that already, if it's 7 days before the festival can be vatal, the shloshim. Avol benoz d'oraisa lo. Maybe when it comes to Nazirus, which is mida oraisa, maybe Abba Shaul would not agree with Rav that it would go in both directions when it comes to Nazirus, which is the oraisa. And the Rav Davman Rabbi Yossi. So rather, we're going to suggest that Rav holds like Rabbi Yossi the Tanya, that we learn in a Bryce. Rabbi Yossi Yom says, Rabbi Yossi Shomer Yom Kineged Yom. Ba ba da da ba ba. Who can tell me what Shomer Yom Kineged Yom is? All right, let me tell you something. Do you hear that siren doing its very siren-y kind of sirening? Well, I do. I'm not wearing earplugs right now because I'm wearing a hat. All right. Well, sirens are just gonna have to siren away. I'll call upon him. Who can tell me what a Shomer Yom Kineged Yom is? All right. Shomer Yom Kineged Yom is okay. Well, midoraisa, the halachos of nida work that if a woman sees dam, so then she's in nida for 7 days. okay, regardless if she sees more dam over the next 7 days, it makes no difference. She's a nida for 7 days. After 7 days, she then goes through this tkufa of 11 days. And within those 11 days, if she sees dam for 3 days in a row, she becomes a zava. Now, okay, so now if in the 11 days following the nida, she sees dam for 1 day, so now we got to figure out, okay, is this going to be the first of a 3-day dam seeing, which would make her a zava? So if we see dam on 1 day, so then comes the next day, she's on the lookout, right? We're not sure. Is she going to see more dam or not? And that next day is Shomeres Yom Keneged Yom. On that day, she's kind of on the lookout to see if she's going to end up seeing more dam. Well, these sirens are really stark. Omer Rav, so let's read that again. So Ela Rav, the Omer Krib Yossi. So Rav says like Krib Yossi, the Tanya, that we learn about. So Krib Yossi, Omer says Krib Yossi, Shomeres Yom Keneged Yom, that if you have a woman who saw dam in the 11 days following being a nida, so within those 11 days she sees dam 1 day. Now the next day she's just kind of on the lookout to see if she's going to see dam nachamo. And now it's day 2, right? So on day 1 she saw dam, now it's day 2. And it's Erev Pesach, and they slaughter the Korban Pesach, and they throw the blood in the Mizbeach. And sure enough, after they offered the Korban Pesach, and she was included, so then she sees dam. Dag nabbit. And it turns out she just saw it on day 2. So now she's tummy again. Not a nida or a zava yet, but tummy from seeing blood. So she can't eat the Korban Pesach because she saw dam. But she doesn't have to do nonetheless Pesach Sheni. My time of Rabbi Yossi. How come Rabbi Yossi says this? How come Rabbi Yossi says that she can't eat the Korban Pesach, but she doesn't have to do a Pesach Sheni, right? If you're Tames and you do Pesach, so for Pesach Rishon, so you do Pesach Sheni, but we're saying that she doesn't have to do Pesach Sheni. Lav Mishum, is it not because the Kasav Mixas Hayom Kikulo? Is it not because he holds that part of the day is like the whole day, so therefore when it comes, right, she wakes up the next morning, and, once already, part of the day has passed, it's like the whole day has passed, so it's as if there was a full day interruption after the first sight of blood. And that is why she wouldn't have to bring the Pesach Sheni. Skip the next few words. Umikanu lahaba hu mitame. Right, and it's only mitame from the time that she sees blood forward, and therefore she can't eat the Korban Pesach that night because she had seen blood. But she doesn't have to bring a Pesach Sheni because at the time they slaughtered it, she hadn't yet seen blood, and Mixas Hayom Kikulo, it's like there was a whole day. Misav Rabbi Yossi Achi. But does Rabbi Yossi really say that when she wakes up in the morning, we could say Mixas Hayom Kikulo, and therefore there was like a window when she was Tahora, and that's when they slaughtered the Korban Pesach, and then she became Tameh afterwards, and we say it's only Mikanu Lahaba, but before then she was Tahora. V'atani Rabbi Yossi, says Rabbi Yossi, Zav al shtei re'iyos. If you have a Zav who's seen as Zavi stuffy for twice. Now how does Zav work? So Zav is a fellow who sees some kind of zaviness come out of his body, and it's not spoim, it's zaviness. And so if he sees it once, alright, he's just considered like a Balkari, I think. Now, if he sees it 3 times within 3 days, well, if he sees it 2 times, so then within 2 days, either 2 times in 1 day or 2 times within 2 days, so then he becomes a Zav Kitana, a Zav Katan, which is basically he's Tamit for 7 days. It's all the stringencies of a Zav Gadol, I believe. The only difference is that he doesn't have to bring a Korban Pesach. And if he sees not a Korban Pesach, he doesn't have to bring a Korban at the end of being a Zav. Now, if he sees zaviness for 3 days in a row, so, and he becomes a zav gadol, and he has to bring a korban at the end. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be 3 days in a row. It can even just be 3 days, 3 times within 3 days. I think you can have a break though in the between. So like 3 times within 3 times in 3 days, 3 times in 2 days, 3 times in 1 day, whatever it might be. So now, where are we? Okay. Zav Baal Shtei Re'iyos. So if you have a Zav who has seen Zaviness twice, Sheshachtu V'zarku Olav Bashvi'i, and then so he had seen Ziva, so he was a Zav, and then he was tummy for 7 days, and on day 7, V'chin Shomeres Yom Kineged Yom, as well as a Shomeres Yom Kineged Yom, Sheshachtu V'zarku Aleh, that they slaughtered and they threw the blood of the Korban Pesach for them. V'achakach ro, and then afterwards they saw, right, this meaning it was on day 7 of the Zav, he thought he was tahor, but and they slaughtered the Korban Pesach for him. Then it turns out that he saw more zaviness. And then, or if you have this woman who saw dam, and then the next day she woke up and she was hoping for the best, and they slaughtered the Korban Pesach, and then she saw dam. Even though they are mitame retroactively, things that they sit on, they're nonetheless patur from Pesach Sheni. So we wanted to say earlier that according to Rabbi Yossi, the reason why she's patur from Pesach Sheni is because they slaughtered the Korban Pesach for when she was tahora. She then saw Adam later, she becomes Tameya again, and therefore she can't partake from the Korban Pesach. By the time they slaughtered it, she was tahora. But over here we seem to be saying that Limafreya, she is, right, that retroactively she is Tameya. So how could we say, right, so we can't say that she was tahora there, and we can't say that Rabbi Yossi, that Rab would be in line with Rabbi Yossi, that the day can count both, right, as 2 separate days, right, like Mixas Yom Kikula, that she was tahora when they slaughtered the Korban Pesach, but then became Tamei afterwards. No, Rabbi Yossi is saying that it's retroactive, that she is Tameya. So what does it mean retroactively? Midorabanan. Midoraisa, there would have been a window of tahor, of tahor, but retroactively we make her tamei midorabanan. It also makes sense to say that it's davka midorabanan disakadatik midoraisa, because if you think that she was tameya midoraisa retroactively, amai ptur milasos pesach sheni, then why would she be exempt from pesach sheni? If we're saying that, right, that she can't eat the Korban Pesach that night because she's tameya retroactively when she sees dam later on in the day. But if that's the case, then why is she p'tura from doing the Pesach Sheni? She was tameya the whole time. Really, I will say to you, Tuma de Oraise. So really, I will say to you that actually it is Tuma de Oraise retroactively. So if that's the case, then why doesn't she have to do Pesach Sheni? Because Tehom Deziva Iteru. Because they, when it comes to Pesach Sheni, they didn't include the Tehom of Ziva. Says the Gemara, that Rabbi Shaya also holds that when we say retroactive, that the Tumah retroactive is only Midor Abonon. The Tanya is within the Bryce Rabbi Shaya Omar, says Rabbi Shaya Aval Aroyet Zav Bashvi Shalo, that if a Zav sees Ziva on the 7th day of being a Zav, so says Shalafanov, so it wipes out all of the days prior, right? He was a Zav, and he was waiting 7 days, 7 pure days, without seeing Ziva, but then he sees Ziva, so it undoes all of right, on day 7, he sees Ziva, so he has to start counting all over again. V'amar le Rabbi Yochanan lo nistar ele yomo. And Rabbi Yochanan says, no, just that day doesn't count. So we say, I don't understand. Manafshach. Yisasar kulu sasar. If we're saying that by seeing Ziva on day 7, then that day doesn't work, then all of the days shouldn't be counted either. Ilo sasar, and if it doesn't, mess up that day, lo nistar v'lo yomu, then it shouldn't mess up that day at all, right? Well, if it doesn't mess up the days before, then it shouldn't mess up that day either. Ela lo nistar v'lo yomo, rather, I will say that no, that even if he sees Ziva on that day, it doesn't. If he sees Ziva on day 7, it doesn't mess up anything at all, right? So Rabbi Shaya said that if he sees Ziva on day 7, he's got to start counting all over. And Rabbi Yochanan says that no, if he sees Ziv on day 7, lo nistar v'lo, it doesn't mess up even that day at all, and he is cool. V'amalei Rabbi Yossi koy kavosich, and Rabbi Shai said that Rabbi Yossi holds like you, the Amar mikanu lahaba mitame, that he's davka tame from this point and on. V'ha Rabbi Yossi limafrei udamar, but didn't Rabbi Yossi say that actually it's retroactive? My limafrei midrabanon. No, what does it mean retroactive? It means only midrabanon retroactive. Rabbi Yossi but one second, if Rabbi Yossi says that Miksa Sayom Kikulo, which means that if you have this woman who during these 11 days after being a Nida, if she sees Dam, so then she has to wait the next, see the next day if she's going to see Dam. But if we say Miksa Sayom Kikulo, the second that she wakes up the next morning and she hasn't yet seen Dam, so then it's considered like the whole day has passed and she hasn't seen any blood. So then, right? So then, Zava Gemura, the Maisa Korban, Eichem Mishkacha. So how are we ever going to have a situation of a Zava Gemura who's going to be offering a Korban at the end of her Tumah if when she sees Dam today and then she wakes up the next morning, it's considered like she hasn't seen Dam, right, the entire second day, that she had a pure day in the second day. So how is she ever going to have 3 days in a row of seeing Dam if every time she wakes up the next morning it's considered like the whole day was pure? Given the Chazal b'palge diyoma, idach palge diyoma, solek l'shimur. Right? That since she's only seeing Dam later on in the day, so the part of the day up until then can count as being a day where she didn't see Dam at all, if it's Miksas Yom Kikula. Iba is ema tikashafa tlosa yome ba'adei adadei. Well, one option is, well, she just bled for 3 days straight and never stopped. Iba is ema, alternatively, the chazit tlosa yome samach l'shkia sachama lahava shows the salik le leminyana. Alternatively, she saw Dam for 3 days in a row right at Shkia. So immediately, there was no part of the day where she hadn't yet seen Dam, so it was mamish 3 days in a row. Hajan Allah, Hareini Nazir, we'll come back to you. Hareini Nazir. That was an interesting daf. We talked about our Mishnah that says that if he says that he's going to be a Nazir when his son is born, and he's also going to be a Nazir for 100 days, so as long as the son is born with 30 days left in his 100 days, so then he can do both Naziris at the same time. But if it's less than 30 days left, then he would have to take a break from his 100-day Naziris in order to do the 30-day Naziris and then finish up whatever remains from the 100-day Naziris. And then Rab had mentioned that when the day that the baby is born counts actually as 2 days, and then we tried to figure out who it was. We wanted to say that it's Rabbi Yossi. I wanted to say that Rab holds like Rabbi Yossi. Friends, that was Daf Tezvav of Masechta Nazir. Hope you enjoyed. Peace out.